many people, loving someone and still not feeling understood by them is all too familiar. You can teach and learn just about anything, but all too often there's still something missing: understanding yourself. We're shining our spotlight on a business that helps us weave the threads of life together and get us to that cloth of well-being. I'm Chris Benson. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. Joining us today is Laura Jennings. She's a consultant and learning director for Family Tapestry. So wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'm so happy to be here.
Excellent. So I understand this is not your first time on Madonna's campus.
It is not my first time.
Got connections.
I've spent many hours here at Madonna, and it's one of my favorite places to visit.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. We're glad to have you back.
You're welcome.
So Family Tapestry, what is it? I know it's a unique offering, and I'm really looking forward to hearing you explain it.
Well, Family Tapestry evolved by a group of diversely experienced professionals coming together with a common passion, and that is human development. And we attack human development so proactively and intentionally using what's called the discovery experience. And this discovery experience is appropriate for an individual, it's appropriate for an entire family, or a group that works together regularly or has a common goal. And so we bring each of the individuals through the discovery experience, and as a result of going through this process, they go through a self-awareness sort of revelation. And we use reflection, discussions where we gather insights and observations. We use well-vetted, analog-based assessment tools, and so you get a statistically reliable result with those, and then also one-on-one attention customized to our individual clients. And when you have a family whereby each individual goes through this process, you can imagine how useful those composite results are as we start looking for patterns, commonalities, differences, whereby each individual of a group can operate in their strengths and create synergy in the group. So it's not a competitive situation with a family or group, it's who's got what skill set and what can we do with it, making sure we're placing people in the appropriate roles. And when I say roles, oftentimes people consider like what you do for a living or occupation, but we're really talking about roles like in a family, in a romantic relationship, on a work site or a job, or in the community, or even at a church. So what roles would you be a natural fit for in those categories?
So you talk about human development. Doesn't that just happen naturally? Why would I need to have an experience like this?
Right, so human development does happen naturally, and many folks amble through life, and sometimes they get really lucky breaks and their pathway is paved for them, and they get to the end, they're 90 years old going, gosh, I was so fortunate that everything happened so smoothly for me. But mostly people reach milestones, transition times. They graduate high school. What should I study? Or should I go into a training program? Or should I be an entrepreneur and start a business? We go to college. We graduate, some of us with non-specific degrees, and the world is their oyster because really the degree will get them into any variety of role, but they don't know what that's going to be. Or we have, especially recently, people who end a career for being downsized, or the business collapses, or they're just need something different. So, but what should I do? So we really do specialize in helping people in natural times of transition be more intentional about which kinds of roles they should occupy and why. More importantly, why? Why is this role appropriate and this one less appropriate? So we really do help them navigate those decisions with the composite that they develop by working with one of our guides.
So how did you get connected to this?
Accidentally and just through networking.
Okay.
So I crossed paths with some of our team and thought that I saw value in the discovery experience, as I'm a lifelong educator, and I was nearing the wrapping up this, the time that I'm going to spend in public education. So I was looking for a transition myself, and so I went through the discovery experience, and it turns out my composite results show that I would be an excellent discovery guide, and also I have on board the skill set for learning director for the company. So I was onboarded that way and met the team, and they're just a fantastic group of people that couldn't be more different from each other. But when I say your characteristics are exposed, your strengths, then you're put with a group of people who you have great synergy with, and the productivity of that group really improves. And that's what our team has modeled for other groups, businesses, families as well.
Oh, so that's interesting. So it's not just like a family. It could be a group of people that are coming together who just want to work better together or more intentionally, it sounds like.
Yes.
Oh.
So initially our model was set up for corporate America to make teams more productive, working with each other and improving their synergy. But as the group evolved over time, we realized really this is good for any group of people, a community group or a personal group, whatever the group is. Not only that, but it's good for even couples or individuals. So we took it out of the broad corporate setting and brought it down to the personal family setting, which is what we're most excited about.
So there's an individual, and I understand myself as an individual, and then I understand myself as a part working with other individuals for like a common goal or to go in a common way. Interesting.
Right. And really the key to that is we all think we know ourselves, and we do, because we are the master of our own experience. We understand that. But there's often disconnect between how we experience ourselves and how others experience us. And so this process really reveals that. What is the disconnect between your experience and how people experience in you? And what can you do to make that more synergistic, productive, positive, all of those things?
And that really, gosh, I'm thinking about like just as how we develop as humans, and you know, even as children, like we're so focused on ourselves, right? In adolescence, I guess having to think outside of yourself, that is a big shift. And as you said, some people, it sounds like, don't quite make that shift as easily as others maybe.
Right. And some people just evolve however it unfolds. Other people really see the benefit in being very intentional with their evolution to improve their dynamic with their family or the group that they work closely with, or with their partner in life, or whatever the situation is. They're trying to be intentional, proactive, empowering. We do focus on strengths and synergy as opposed to what's wrong with you and can't you fix it.
Oh, wow.
So we really go to the innate personhood and help with small adjustments to make that cooperate better in the world you navigate. Wow. If that makes sense.
It does, it does. And we have to take a short break, so I know you're going to stay with me.
Of course.
And we'll come right back, and you'll hear even more about Family Tapestry, and we're going to make all of it make sense and figure it out. So we'll see you soon.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you, instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
Yes, ready, ready.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and joining me today is Laura Jennings. She's one of the key members of Family Tapestry, and you were talking to us about the guide experience and the discovery experience, and you being a guide in that experience. So can you give us like an example or maybe what that might look like?
If it's okay, I'll talk about some of my recent clients that really were fun to work with. So my lane in this group is I have a history of working with adolescents and young adults, and a lot of getting them ready for career paths and course selection and matching them with interests and things like that. So they gravitate, what gravitates to me are the 20-something crowd, okay? And so recently I worked with a family, an entire family. They had 3 young men getting ready to graduate. There was a set of twins and then a third one. And they're 21 and 22 years old, reaching the end of their college and or training paths. And mom and dad are just having heartstrings pulled and saying to themselves, we have built this family and family experience, but they're men now and they're getting ready to launch. So their goal in securing our services was to be proactive about the empty nest time, and also what is our family going to look like as these men add to our family. You know, they take on wives and they go maybe out of state for a career path, maybe stay in state. What is that going to look like? Like, what do we even care about? Do they care if we keep this close-knit family? And so they asked, you know, could we work with the family and sort of be proactive about what's going to happen after empty nest? And so each of the members of the family went through the discovery experience. We revealed commonalities with their intricate design. Each one's created differently. And they were able to share out, like, yeah, we do appreciate our family dynamic. But as we mature to adult and mom and dad aren't, they're still always going to be mom and dad, but they're not the boss of me anymore. What do I have to contribute to this family dynamic, and what will it look like in 10 years when we're approaching our 30s and start families and such? And so we're in the beginning stages with that group. All the members have gone through the discovery experience, and we've had our family consult and agreed, and typically and agreed that there's some work to be done and some planning to be done, and what direction that should go per each member of the family and their strengths. And so typically that would be the conclusion of our short-term discovery experience relationship, but this family just feels so empowered now. They're actually circling back. So I'm going back, and we're going to start doing more specific planning for what that will look like as they approach their 30s and add to their family. And what specifically, how important is our family? What kind of family legacy do we want to create for the next generation? What are the core values we want to hang on to? What role does each of our members have in keeping that cohesiveness together? As we know, some family members are the natural party planners, and some family members just show up with the beverages every time, and they can be counted on. And those are superficial examples, but really they're anchored to traits that make that person good at being the host or being the participant, being the game organizer, or in this case, the developer of family legacy. So that would be a group scenario. If we just took it down to another young woman who I worked with, she has a degree that could be applied in a variety of places. She has a love of music, and her official credential is music therapy, but she enjoys performing. And so she went through the discovery experience to look for roles so that she could occupy roles instead of chasing a niche. She wants to create her own niche with her own skills, gifts, and abilities. Another a graduate of, she's a physician assistant. So she had multiple offers from different places. She used her composite report and the information contained to know which places she would best fit for the corporate culture. And she actually picked the role that she's in based on her composite report. And guess what? A year and a half later, it's a good fit.
Wow.
So she chose her boss based on his characteristics and what was in her composite report. So this is something that, and she did her discovery experience just after undergrad. So this was several years ago, but the results are so consistent and reliable that she can still unpack it and use it as a tool to guide her next employment, her relationship with her fiance, and community volunteer work. There's another woman who does a lot of volunteer work, but she's asked because she always says yes. So she's using her composite report to discern which roles she should say yes to, because they resonate with her makeup, not just because she's nice and says yes a lot. So it's really the results of the entire process are used ongoing for individuals and family to be intentional about how they spend their time and who they spend it with.
And it sounds, what I'm struck by, it sounds to me like it honors the person. So in the family, just one that you described, each person is honored for who they are, and there isn't a lesser role. We all have an important role in the process. Is that pretty much?
I am so glad you said that, because one thing I neglected to mention is one of the young men I just referred to is on the autism spectrum. And his parents and brothers were really concerned that he be included. So he is in junior college, and he does have cognitive ability to work through the process, but he did require some assistance with capacity and staying focused and on time. And so we also have a process advocate who is credentialed in learning diversity, and that person was able to work with him to make sure that he got reliable results, the composite report that his brothers did, and that he felt included and also celebrated and validated that he is a part of the family just as important, and we celebrate his role as well as the typically abled individuals in the group.
Oh, that's wonderful. Again, I hear this respect for the dignity of each person being very important. Oh, very good. Well, we have to take another short break. We'll return in just a minute with Laura Jennings, so stay tuned.
To eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arch-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch.
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I
Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and I'm joined again by Laura Jennings of Family Tapestry. And we've been talking about life experience and just kind of making sense of it all. And I understand there's something called mentorage. I love that word.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what that is related
Sure.
to Family Tapestry.
One thing about Family Tapestry and our team is that we are very intentional with word usage. So thank you for complimenting mentorage. It took a lot of discussion to come to that. And the reason why we implemented that as a service is because the discovery experience is for a specific person who's looking to be intentional about how they evolve to a better place for themselves and looking to fill roles appropriately and proactively. But not everybody needs that level of service. What do I mean by that? Well, discovery experience takes about 12 weeks, and that could be condensed or spread out. Because of the amount of reflection, discussion, and the assessments and all that. It's a whole process. But especially the younger they are, they might just need a consult. And so mentorage is the concept of checking in with somebody who you're a good fit with, who's not your relative, and has no bias or judgment. And you're just bouncing ideas off, and they might be able to ask a series of questions that will lead you to your own decision. We're not in the business of telling people about themselves. We let them reveal their own expertise. And the mentorage component of our services is just, it can be a one-time consult, or it could be a yearly check-in. It could be a monthly check-in, depending on the age, needs, and the goal of the client. And so yesterday, I was contacted by a young woman who I started mentorage with at the age of 16, and had an integral role in these decisions over decades of time. She just checked back in just to give me an update. She's not looking for services, but she just wanted to give me an update. And I thought, what a unique experience to be connected with this person who I'm not related to, who we share time and space with, and she's just checking in with me for her next, basically. And she did all the hard work for whatever her next was, and she has a variety of experiences, but during those transition times, she's just checking in to make sure that she's being true to herself and how she plans to contribute to the society that she's a part of.
Wow.
So that was remarkable. That's the longest term mentorage relationship that I personally have had, but
wow.
It was pretty neat. She turned out to be a pretty cool adult.
And just hearing you talk about these various experiences that are so top of mind, and I can just see how much you enjoy it. What does it mean to be a steward of this this experience for people?
For me, it is so fulfilling. To change help to change the perception of a young person who's in turmoil. One person comes to mind, her name's Samantha. Samantha, I met with her earlier when she was probably about 18. She's going into pre-law. She knows she wants to be an attorney. She did all of the prerequisite work to do this with shadowing, and she gets through college and she graduates, and she's got to study for her the tests and such. And so she got an internship, which led to a position in a company. Well, she didn't plan for this internship to turn into a position. It turns out this position is really well paid, and it's fun, and she travels, and it's in Chicago, and she makes more money than she ever thought she could. She's 25 years old, and she is just thrilled. But she remembers she told everyone she was going to be an attorney. So she checked in and is feeling like she failed somehow because she doesn't want to go to law school now. She likes her role, and she wants to evolve in that direction. So just checking in and reassuring, listen, this is your show, your life, and this isn't failure. This is just called changing your mind. So what does changing your mind look like for you now? And who is holding you back from celebrating this change of your mind? And so just that quick check-in, I think it was like an hour and a half we chatted, wow. And now she leaves all empowered, like, yeah, I just changed my mind. I didn't fail on a plan. And just being a part of that sort of mental transition for her to take in a different direction. You're not letting me down. I don't know who you think you're letting down, but you're doing great, So that for me is extremely rewarding, just to provide that unbiased, sort of objective. This is what I hear you say, and this is what it looks like to me because you look pretty happy. So that's the goal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
that is the goal of
right.
life. I
So
know.
how fun is that for me,
yeah.
right? All these young people.
We are led to believe it's not, but that is it. Life is now, right?
Yes, and I'm sure some people will, in her life, may be disappointed, but she'll
Yeah.
have the confidence and frame of mind to say, no, this was a decision, a change of mind. It was intentional, and it's not a failure. It's really a reframing, I suppose, of what her intentions are.
Sure. Where can people find you? If people are out there watching right now and they're like, gosh, I wanna connect to this organization, where's the best way to get in
I think
touch
the
with
best
you?
way to do that is to do a virtual introduction with our website. You can meet the other team members, see, I may be a great fit for you, but maybe not for your cousin, So pick which team member you'd like to reach out to. Each of us offer complimentary consultations. That's at www.myfamilytapestry.com. So our website matches closely, but not, the business is Family Tapestry, but it's myfamilytapestry.com. And of course, via email, the emails are listed on the website.
Wonderful. Well,
Absolutely.
I just feel the energy and the inspiration coming from you. So
Oh, good.
thanks for putting those bursts of goodness out in the world for folks, and we appreciate that. And thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm happy to do this.
Absolutely. And we're glad you were here too to celebrate all the wonderful things that we do here in Michigan. We love having you as part of the show, and we hope you'll tune in next time. See you soon.